What you mean you ain't seen Walking Tall?
Oh, do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Am I ever gonna get one of these right, dude?
It's Walking Tall. We're watching Walking Tall. Walking Tall was originally released in 1973, rated R, coming in at 125 minutes, classified as action, crime, and drama. It was directed by Phil Carlson, starring Joe Don Baker, Elizabeth Hartman, Leif Garrett, Don Lynn, Noah Beerley Jr., and Lorraine Tuttle. That's right, guys. Today we were looking at Walking Tall, the original 1973 movie, not that Dwayne The Rock Johnson / Kevin Sorbo bullshittery.
My bad.
So, what'd you guys think of the film?
I really liked it. It made me feel like how I imagine westerns are, because I haven't seen many westerns in my life.
Okay.
But that is what I picture them feeling
6
like.
years, probably.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
so-
kind of fair. This movie does share a lot in like kind of archetypal storytelling in the same vein as like a lot of westerns, has the same basic plot as a lot of old school westerns. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I see that.
Felt very homey.
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Very Art of Man.
Right on.
But yeah, I liked it a lot. It was really cool.
Right on, yeah. I've always liked it quite a bit too, ever since I was a kid. When I first saw it, it's been a while since I had watched it, but damn if it doesn't hold the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's rated R, which is a little bit weird because I feel like the violence, the level of violence and the way it's depicted in the movie probably wouldn't be so harshly looked at today by today's standards.
Mhm.
So it does feel weird, and it's weird that the next movie in the series is PG.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, that's weird. But anyway, yeah, like, the movie holds up really well. It doesn't rely on a bunch of, like, movie tricks like fast cutting or anything like that. It just, like, tells you the story very straightforwardly in a way that really draws you into the characters and makes you like want to get to know them and care about what's happening to them.
Yeah, it feels very organic
Yeah,
in that sense.
very much so. Right on, guys. So what was your favorite thing in Walking Tall?
Mine was the score for sure. It definitely added to a layer to that like homey western feel more so than I thought it could in the beginning. It was really nice, but when it gets intense, it gets really intense, and I don't know, I really liked it.
Yeah.
It did really well.
Yeah. While this movie's thought of as like an exploitation film, and it definitely has a lot of those elements, like the attention to like the score and things like that is very particular. It makes it feel like a mainstream movie, so when horrible things start happening, it's a little bit more jarring than in most like movies that are truly like exploitation films where they have a very exploitation film feeling score. This is a traditional score. It feels very all-American.
Yes.
It really helps sell the idea. Yeah.
So,
Lovely
yeah.
in the parts where it's beautiful, and then will hurt you in the parts that it's not.
Absolutely. How about you?
Mine's the storytelling. It definitely feels like just a homegrown story. Nothing. I mean, if it is based on true events or a true story.
Yes, it is based on a true story, but I haven't done a lot of research on that end, so I'm not going to attest to how true.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
is.
it's going to be ballooned a little at
Yeah.
least, but yeah, just in general, like you have to see like the whole transition of the character and this, like how the story panned out.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Still felt very raw.
Right. And I also think that like the storytelling, like I said in the opening, like they don't rely on a lot of like movie tricks to make you like move from place to place. Like all the shots are very simply shot. Like there's no tricky camera work. There's nothing flashy about the movie.
Yeah.
It just feels earnest, you know, in its depiction of this character. And at the same time, like the storytelling is fantastic. Like it really is aided by that simplicity because it's easy to follow, it's easy to engage with the characters, and also it helps represent like the simpler kind of Norman Rockwell type American dream life that they're kind of going for. And
Yeah,
stuff
that was a like as we were watching that, like all the shots made me kind of like, you know, wishing I was there to like watch them pan out because like it would have been such a simplistic like set.
Yes.
So.
And at the same time, like that kind of storytelling mixed with the score and stuff like that, and also like specifically with the storytelling, the way the movie ends is like, we see the climax, but
Yes.
obviously then he's told that there are people who are still, like, we know there are people who are involved who are still out there.
We'll get the rest of them, Buford. Every last one of them. I swear we will, Buford. Come on.
And leaving that kind of like uncertainty but certainty at the ending feels very true to life, where like, yeah, the story's over but nothing's ever really finished. And
also like the proper way to do a sequel, like if you're trying to do a sequel, like no credits at the end, like you straight up leave it hanging with this like, oh yeah, shit has to happen, like
absolutely.
I have to see this happen. So
absolutely, it's a great setup for a sequel, and I don't know if they knew by the end of this movie that they were going to have a different actor for the next movie, but
it played out.
I wonder, because they put him in like a facial mask, like cast thing. I don't know if that's because that's based on something true, or if that's because they knew, or maybe they didn't know they were going to get him back for the sequel. So like that would give them a good excuse to like have a new actor and just be like, oh yeah, well he had plastic surgery because he was so messed up, and that's why he looks different.
That's incredible planning if that's how it is.
I'm not sure. I might like this DVD's got a commentary on it that I've never watched before, so I'm probably going to be checking that out, and maybe I'll do like a little video of, you know, Walking Tall fun facts or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But yeah, the storytelling and the music for the film is absolutely fantastic. The storytelling kind of works in every aspect of the plot, the character development, like, hands down, like, people think of this as an exploitation movie, but none of the elements of the movie are handled like an exploitation film. So my favorite thing in the film is pretty much just the way that they deal with the character of Buford. Buford Pusser, the main character, like, the way that, like, you just see the kind of man that he is from the beginning. Like, he walked away from his very lucrative career as a wrestler on principle. Like, you know, it wasn't a sport anymore, it was a show, and you had to live by their rules or not make a living at all. You know, and then he's put into the situation that he's put into where he is given everything you need to understand why he legitimately feels like he has to do something personally. Like, there's no one else who's going to do it.
I had to stand up for myself alone. I didn't go in to rob any gambling house with just a stick. I went in there to remind them that somewhere in this world there's still a little order left. To let them know in the only kind of terms that their kind understand is that they can't bribe or threaten their way out of what they did to me. They did this. You're out of order! You're out of order! You're out of order!
Stop it right now. Stop it. Your Honor, state objects to it.
You let them do this to me and get away with it, and you give them the eternal right to do the same damn thing to any one of you.
And at the same time, I feel that they give like just a really well-rounded aspect of him being a good man, but not a perfect man.
Absolutely.
Like, he definitely makes some mistakes. Both, like, some of them are moral mistakes, but they're always understandable. Like, you always get why he's making the choice he's making, even if you're like, that's kind of like not what I would.
It's not how policing works.
Or, you know, various ways like that, you know, or maybe like there's a lot of people who probably object to how violent and forceful he is, and that's brought up in the movie as like a weakness of him, that he relies on that, and as soon as it's brought up to him as a weakness, he automatically like learns the fucking book so that he can use it against the person who's telling him he's dumb. You know,
which was great.
Which is fantastic. So
it's an awesome scene.
like they create a great character who does feel like an everyman, but at the same time has all of the characteristics and qualities that you kind of want out of a badass action movie, like leading hero.
It's a receipt. $3,630 you owe me.
$3,300 for my station wagon, $280 for mine, Ludy's money, and about $50 for the doctor's bill. You sign it, you give me my money. Just the $3,630 you owe me.
He still is the moral compass of the movie, and you see him struggle with his own moral compass, which then whenever he's able to keep the path, like, it makes it that much more satisfying. So kind of like everything else in the film, it's just handled so well that, like, again, the film's kind of long, and it's kind of slow paced, but man, between those three elements, like Buford, the music,
Yeah.
and the storytelling,
Keeps it engaging.
Yeah.
You don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
You have to know what happens.
Weirdly, this movie is far more engaging than something like Constantine, which we watched for our last one of these videos.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, like, holy crap!
it's
Like,
crazy. Yeah.
like Constantine's a fun movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You guys saw the video probably. If not, go watch that shit.
We had fun.
Uh,
Meditation right here.
But yeah, like, dude, this movie somehow, without any of the tricks or the special effects or any of that stuff, manages to be way more engaging and way more fulfilling, even though you have a much more ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's crazy. It's just a well-made film.
You feel really satisfied by the end, and you kind of, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Right on, guys. So, what would you say is your least favorite thing out of the film?
Mine's really dumb and nitpicky, but I just wish we got to see a little bit more of the kids' personalities. Just a little bit. Though
Okay.
the story is focused on Buford, which I love, but I don't know, I wanted to see a little bit more of him. I just like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, the kids don't have as big a role in the film. The wife also, like, her role is decently sized.
Yeah,
They give her
she-
enough screen time for what they're trying to do with her.
Yeah.
And you do empathize with her, but yeah, like, the kids, like, we know that one of the kids likes guns and stuff, but, like, we don't really have a sense of their personality.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame, because the son is played by a young Leif Garrett, like, pop star from the 70s, who was like, never mind, just Google it. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Trust
Oh,
me.
God.
Trust me, it'll be fun. He was also in The Outsiders. But yeah, like, the kids could definitely have been developed a little bit more, but I also think it being a low-budget film where you have to pay more money when the kid, like, for the kids, they have
True.
shorter shooting hours and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, probably is why we see a reduced kind of characterization for them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. I really don't have any complaints. If I did, it's because I'm just not into the 70s looks and stuff.
Yeah, fair.
Like, that's just not me. So that part is a little to get over at first.
Right.
Like, gotta get used to that again. But other than that, like, it's no problem. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, like, it is weird, because, like, in the remake, like, all the characters, even the bad guys, like, they're made to look, like, cool, or, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
everything's designer clothes, and, like, not only does
Well,
it look...
also not the average man looks like Dwayne The Rock
Well,
Johnson
yeah,
either,
but
so-
also, yeah, like, it's all not just modern, but it's so much more stylized, and
Yes.
even when you're looking at, like, the lead bad guys in this movie, like, everybody just looks like a guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all dudes.
Yeah,
It
like,
feels- yeah.
no one looks like an action hero,
Very
or,
local.
like, a bad guy.
Yeah.
They're all just, like, sweaty dudes
Yep.
in, like, regular clothes, just, like, chilling with bad posture.
Yeah,
Drinking beer.
Because even our main guy, like, he looks kind of awkward with the stick.
Yeah,
Not that a 2x4 looks any better, but
no, but, I
Yeah,
mean, like,
like-
he does look kind of awkward with
like
the
when he
stick.
walks into the bar, he's like holding it and stuff. He's all like, "What's going on here?"
It's,
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
great.
just nothing. Get the fuck out of here with your stupid stick. But like, there's morals there and principles. I get it. It's
Yeah.
just funny.
But at the same time, like, one of the things I actually do like about this movie, like, is that so many of the fights are so awkward feeling.
yes.
Like, it feels very, again, like, that idea of it feeling like a real thing,
Yeah.
you know? Like, a lot of the fights, while they're still very choreographed and
Yeah.
movie fights, they have a weird awkwardness that makes them feel authentic
Yeah.
to the way real fights tend to go.
Yeah, just like all the tension, like when you look at each other
Yeah.
for a couple seconds first, like you're not sure, like you're sizing him up. You're like, you don't know if he's a lefty or
Yeah.
a righty, or I don't know.
Right? And,
Yeah.
and I think, like, the same thing goes for, like, a lot of the elements of the movie that, like, you were saying, like, the 70s look of it. It's like, it doesn't look or feel the way that a typical movie of this kind should.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a little bit to get around that. And then once you do, though, you find that the characters, the way they're presented, are actually so much more accessible. Like, they're not archetypes. Like, they feel like real characters. And we actually get far less time with a lot of the villains than we would get in, like, the remake or, like, you know, a more straightforward action movie.
Yeah.
But you kind of don't need as much with them because you can kind of just infer who they are because you've seen those kind of guys. Oh, it's like, oh yeah, I know that dude. Like, I saw him at the bar last week. Shit. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, like, especially the way movies have become, it definitely feels like a disadvantage, but I think in the overall end factor, it ties into all the things that make the movie work as well as it does. My least favorite thing about the movie, again, I really like the film. It's really hard to pick a least favorite thing, but I will say that some of, like, I like the awkwardness in some of the action sequences and stuff, but specifically in the action sequences that involve the cars, there's a few shots in there that fail to maintain the tension. Specifically, there's a scene where the original sheriff of the town trying to run over Buford, and the whole scene works, except, like, when Buford jumps out of the way it's cut, I think, like, 2 shots got reversed or something.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I felt the same way.
Yeah, because there's a moment...
it doesn't look like he's going to go that way at all.
There's a shot where, well, I think they got flipped, because there's a shot where we see the sheriff hit the accelerator and move forward toward him, and then, like, the shot of Buford moving out of the way, but the shot comes before he, like, drives forward. Yeah. So, like, it doesn't make sense that the sheriff would still think Buford would be there.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure what happened right there.
Yeah.
But that's, like, for me, a big pivotal moment in the movie that, like, puts Buford on his path because he saves Home Dude. It takes care of the original sheriff and everything. Like,
yeah, falls in
right.
Big moment. And
also, everything else about that chase sequence leading up to that is really dope.
Yeah.
It's really dope.
It is.
So that one moment kind of falls a little short for me, and I feel like it's also, like, the first really big action-y set piece we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more noticeable that it falls short, you know? But even then, like, everything else in that sequence is so good that, like, yeah, that moment's a fumble, but again, I think that probably comes down to, like, time, budget, and those same old-school, like, low-budget movie problems that you tend to have. Right on, guys. So, clearly, I like this movie, and I would recommend it to people, but would you guys recommend it to other people?
Yeah, I totally would. Like you said, it's a little long, but if you can get through that, and it's a lot of roller coasters up and down, I promise it's worth it. It's a lot of fun. So, yes.
Yeah, super fun. Like I said, good storytelling. Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those older movies that whenever you put it on, you don't think you're going to be pulled into it as much as you are.
Yeah.
Because, like,
yes, that was...
not only with movies we've watched on this show, but just, like, in general, the conception is that, like, older movies are quaint, and therefore they're not going to be as engaging. Yeah. You know, like, you need to have a new scene every 2 minutes, you need to have a cut every 30 seconds kind of thing, like, because that makes it more interesting and better, and it's like, well, no, maybe it's just the story that you're telling isn't exciting enough, so you have to spice it up that way.
Yeah.
Right.
But, like, this is one of those great older movies, kind of like, you know, like Wizard of Oz or, like, Butch and Sundance. Like, you put it in and, like, people will be surprised by how engaging and how relatable it is, because it's just a well-made movie.
It is. Holds up really well.
Really, really well. I mean, obviously, it's very much to be viewed as a movie from the 70s, like, in that period, but everything they're dealing with transcends the period in which it takes place, and, like, just feels very relatable and very understandable, and it does, in a lot of ways, like you were saying, feel like a modern-day interpretation of, like, the Old West value system encroaching on the, like, Norman Rockwell American dream that these people are trying to execute.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that is a really interesting thing, like, in terms of the way that the world was changing at that period in time.
Yeah.
So
white picket fences and all.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely fucking recommend it.
When was the last time you stood up and applauded a movie? Audiences across America are standing up, applauding, and cheering a film called Walking Tall.
I thought you walked tall! crawl. Look like you gotta learn how to crawl.
Right on, children of the screen. Thank you very much for joining us for What You Mean You Ain't Seen? Walking Tall.
Good night, guys.
Later.
Right on, guys. And if you like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get updates on all the dope content I'll have coming out in the future. Furthermore, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I will have links for that in the description below. Once again, thank you, children of the screen. Hope you have a good one. Nerd Scum, out.